2 Timothy 4. I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all longsuffering and doctrine. For the time will come, when they will not endure sounder doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables.
Now 21 says, then came David to Nob. That phrase, then came David to Nob, is these translators' way of letting you know some time has expired. But we're not sure how much time. But the continuous people saying, it's still the third or fourth day of the month. Okay, everyone with me? Let's continue on with this story. Verse 2 to 6.
And David said unto Ahimelech the priest, the king hath commanded me a business, and hath said unto me, let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send thee, and what I have commanded thee. And I have appointed my servants to such and such place. Now therefore, what is under thine hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in mine hand, or what there is present. And the priest answered David and said, there is no common bread under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread, if the young men have kept themselves at least from women.
So David goes to the temple in this city. He goes to the priest, Amalek, and says, hey, me and my men are hungry. What you got in your hand? And Amalek says, I only got this hallowed bread. This bread has been sanctified. Now, let's go and show you how they think that this is the Sabbath. And I'm not saying they're wrong yet. I'm just presenting the question. Is this the Sabbath? Let's go get Leviticus 24. Leviticus 24 and 9. Hold your marker and get Leviticus 24 and 9. This is how we got to be Bereans and detectives with this thing. Leviticus 24 and 9. Shemai? Actually, can you start it at verse 5 to 9?
Con.
Thank you.
You said 4. Yeah, okay. What verse? I'm sorry.
This is going to be Leviticus 24, verse 5 through 9.
5 through 9. And thou shalt take fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2 tenths dill shall be in 1 cake. And thou shalt set them in 2 rows, 6 on a row, upon the pure table before the Most High. And thou shalt put pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for a memorial, even an offering made by fire unto the Most High. Every Sabbath he shall set it in order before the Most High, continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant.
So this is a custom that the priests were told to do. You're going to take fresh bread every Sabbath, put frankincense on it, and when you bake it, it's going to be like an offering of fire, because you bake it in the fire, the frankincense is going to smell, the Most High is going to smell it. And they're commanded to do this every Sabbath. So now that's why when we go to 1 Samuel 21, the continuous Sabbath people are saying, hey, it's the 4th day of the month, and this priest already got the hollow bread. So it's the Sabbath during the 4th day of the month. That's their understanding. That's how they're getting the new moon has nothing to do with the Sabbath. Everyone's tracking? So now let's go back to 1 Samuel 21, and let's see if this really truly is the Sabbath. Again, I'm just posing the question. We still got a long way to go. 1 Samuel 21.
Which verse?
So let's confirm our timeline. We know for sure what we can touch without a doubt that David was in the woods 3 days. New moon day, the 2nd day of the month, and then in the morning, which is the 3rd, Jonathan says, yes, my father wants you killed. So that's 3 days into the week. New moon comes, we're 3 days into the week. Jonathan says, hey, my dad wants you killed. So now, 1 Samuel 21 says, then came David to Nob. Now, we don't know concretely. I'm just throwing this out there to get you thinking. He went to Nob, and more than likely he wouldn't travel at the daytime. Now let's examine this thing again. Verse 2 again. I'll read that verse 2 again.
And David said unto Ahimelech the priest, the king hath commanded me a business, and hath said unto me, let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send thee, and what I have commanded thee, and I have appointed my servants to such and such place.
So David is lying to him, saying the king got me on urgent business, and my men, I got them somewhere else. So now, this is my thinking. Again, I'm just throwing this out there. The third day of the month, we know David was in Ramah. Now he's done gathered men. And more than likely, David's not dumb. I'm not going to travel during the day. Then if you check that map again, you can even see the map has terrain. So the chances of this being the third or fourth day is getting kind of shaky. It's getting kind of shaky. Now, let's read that phase. Let's read that phrase. Let's read verse 4 again. Read verse 4 to 5.
All right. And the priest answered David and said, there is no common bread under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread. If the young men have kept themselves at least from women. And David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth women have been kept from us about these 3 days since I came out.
About these 3 days since I came out. About these 3 days since I came out. We know concretely he was in the woods for 3 days after the new moon. Now he's telling Amalek, yeah, me and the men haven't touched a woman about these 3 days since I came out. Now, he already lied and said the king sent him. So that phrase, since I came out, would he be telling Amalek, since I came out of hiding from Saul? Or would he be letting Amalek know, since I came out of Ramah? Because Amalek knows David. David's famous now. He killed Goliath. Mm-hmm. So Amalek knows you're from Jerusalem or Ramah. So when David says, about these 3 days since I came out, the continuous people saying, see, this is still the 4th day of the month, and Amalek has the showbread. But if you take a closer examination, he's saying about 3 days since I came out. He won't be telling Saul since I came out of hiding. Because then Amalek would be like, Amalek would be like, came out of hiding. What? Right. Mm-hmm. Y'all follow me?
Yeah.
Again, you got to keep everything in context. This Bible is not this spiritual story. He's running from Saul. He's not going to be traveling during the day knowing Saul's men looking at him. Now, let's re-examine this. The third day, Jonathan confirms, my dad wants you dead. Now he's done gathered men. That takes some time. Mm-hmm. Now they're traveling, trying to avoid detection. Again, I'm not confirming this is the 4th day, but about these 3 days. If the third day Saul confirms, yeah, my dad wants you dead, now we got, went to another city traveling. We don't know if he had horses, because Jonathan is the son of a king. Jonathan is Saul's son. Mm-hmm. So if Jonathan wanted to give him horses, he would have gave him horses. But then that would have alerted his dad. His dad already knew, I know you sweet on David. So he definitely couldn't give him no horses. So again, I can't say for sure if they were walking, but if you're on a horse, people are going to see you. Yeah. So now David gets his men and shows up in Nob, and he says, about these 3 days, we've abstained from women. So 3 days in the woods, about these 3 days, we haven't touched no woman. 3 plus 3 is what?
6. So
it's kind of likely that this Amalek is changing out the bread. I'm not ready or fully convinced yet, but then I'm thinking, man, you're on the run from the king. The king wants you dead. And remember, this ain't fearless David who done slew all these people for. This is David, I just killed a giant. I'm about 19, barely got a beard, and now my father-in-law, because Saul gave David his daughter. My father-in-law gave me his daughter, and he wants me killed. And I'm 19 years old. Can't be 20 because he would have been a man of war. So he's 19, the oldest. Your father-in-law wants you dead. I go on the run, and I'm going to go to the temple on the Sabbath day? Family, every temple or synagogue, because the main temple, Solomon's, was in Jerusalem, but every other tribe had synagogues.
Yeah.
So you know, even though I'm in the next city, if I go to the synagogue, it's the Sabbath. Everybody's going to see me.
Yeah.
How smart would David be? Again, this being the Sabbath is on shaky ground. This is on shaky ground. Everybody with me?
Yes.
So, two assumptions they make here is Amalek has a showbread, it has to be the Sabbath. But now it may be the Sabbath, but we don't know. So, the last point, and again, I can't convince you, I'm not trying to convince you, I'm just trying to give you a full picture. Did the priests always do what they were supposed to do?
No.
So now you're assuming that Amalek following the Torah to the T and taking the showbread out on the Sabbath. But again, if he's taking it out on the Sabbath, the temple should be filled with Israelites. And David's going to walk up in the temple. Hey. Yeah. Saul's looking for it. To me, this is not adding up that this is the Sabbath. So let's go back to get 1 Samuel 2 and 12. 1 Samuel 2, chapter 2, verse 12. I need y'all to hang in there. If you get tired, get you some food, because this is very important. It's not for your salvation, this is for truth's sake, and you can help others see this. So if you're getting tired, get you something to eat. You know, this is very, I don't want to do this lesson but once a year. So we're going to read 1 Samuel chapter 2, and let's pick it up at 12.
Shema.
Shema. Read.
Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial.
Who's Belial? Baal. Thank you. That's just another spelling for Baal. Eli is a priest, so he's a Levite. And this is record of saying all his sons were devils. All these priests of Eli's sons, they're devils. Amen?
Amen.
Read.
They knew not the Most High.
13.
And the priest's custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servants came, while the flesh was in seething, with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand. And he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot. All that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took for himself.
These people are coming to sacrifice, and these wicked priests are coming and taking it. Once they leave, they're taking the meat out, this good meat, because remember, me and you, we're not priests. When we bring an offering, we're bringing our best. Mm-hmm. This is the best, my grapes or whatever it is, my meat. This is meat. I'm bringing my best because I done messed up. So these wicked priests, sons of Eli, once you leave, they're taking the hook, taking the meat out. Levites. Yeah. You see why we over here being killed? Yeah. You see why we can't play with these law, statutes, commandments? Mm-hmm. The priest did this. Wickedness. Read.
So
I said his kids was bad anyway.
Yeah. Verse 14.
Let me see. And he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot. All that the flesh had brought up, the priest took for himself. So they did in Shiloh unto all the Israelites that came to them. Also before they burnt the fat, the priest's servant came and said to the man that sacrificed, Give flesh to roast for the priest, for he will not have sodden flesh of thee, but raw. And if any man said unto him, Let them not fail to burn the fat presently, and then take as much as thy soul desireth, then he would answer him, Nay, but thou shalt give it me now, and if not now, I will take it by force.
Priest, I'm going to take it anyway. I'm going to take the fat's supposed to be for the Most High. The priest says, give it to me. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to take it anyway. These are Levites, Aaron's sons. But now Eli's the one. This is wickedness, family. I finish that up.
Wherefore the sin of the young men was very great before the Most High, for men abhorred the offering of the Most High.
So now, whole Israel knowing these priests are wicked. They're doing wickedness, and Amalek is a descendant of Eli. If you Google Amalek on Wikipedia, it gives you his lineage. Wow. Amalek is like Eli's great-grandson or great-great-grandson. So what's the chances? Well, let's continue on. So let's go down to let's drop down to verse 7. Did we read 7? 1 Samuel 21 and 7. No, let's stay here. Let's go to 22. I may not have.
Yeah, and I was thinking too.
Yeah, let's stay here for 1 second. Go ahead.
Chapter 2:22?
Yeah. Yeah.
Say what now? What chapter and verse?
We want 1 Samuel. I think that's a typo. Yeah, that's a typo. Let's drop down. Go ahead. Your point out.
Yeah, I was wondering why the Ahimelech was afraid when David showed up.
We got Berean.
Yeah.
You're a priest in the temple. What you scared of David for?
Right.
You know how you say you jump? What you jumping for?
Like he's gonna hurt him or something.
You did something.
Yeah.
So no, I'm still in. You see how we got to be Bereans? But go ahead, explain.
Maybe because they heard that he killed Goliath, and maybe that he was a threat too.
Why would you want to kill me? I'm a priest doing the work of the Most High.
No, because there's wickedness in your heart.
Yes. Yeah.
So why are you scared of David?
Yeah,
If you ain't doing nothing wrong and Yah's protecting you, you doing the work of Yah.
Yeah.
Hey, David, it's good to see you, man. You jump like, hey, why you here by what you doing here by yourself?
Yeah.
So let's get verse 22.
Let's see.
Same chapter. That's a typo on the page. It's chapter 2, verse 22.
Okay. Let me go back here. 2:22. Now Eli was very old, and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. My goodness.
So now all Israel know Eli's sons is wicked. Y'all making prostitutes out of the Israelite Hebrewisses. Y'all stealing offerings. Y'all are prostituting the priesthood. Eli knows about it. What would you do if you was Eli?
Back then, having their mindset, knowing that they was around the Most High, they got to be put to death.
That's what the Torah say.
Yeah,
That's what the Torah said.
Yeah.
Let's drop down to verse same chapter, verse 30. Same chapter. This is 1 Samuel 2 and 30.
Wherefore the Most High of Israel saith, I said indeed that thy house and the house of thy father should walk before me forever. But now the Most High saith, be it far from me, for them that honor me I will honor, and they that despise me shall be lightly esteemed.
So he's telling Eli, you know what? I commanded that all your father's house and his children keep my house in order, but now I see that they're wicked. But all the Levites who honor me, I'm going to honor them. So if you're a righteous Levite, the Most High is going to honor you. Come. Read.
Behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm and the arm of thy father's house, that there shall not be an old man in thine house. And thou shalt see an enemy in my habitation, in all the wealth which the Most High shall give Israel, and there shall not be an old man in thine house forever.
He just said, I'm going to kill all your sons for their wickedness. Your whole line, which means Amalek. Amalek is his great-grandson. Most High says, I'm killing all your sons and grandsons for this wickedness. Come. Now let's go back to 1 Samuel 21 when Amalek gives him the bread. 1 Samuel 21 and verse 5. 1 Samuel 21 and 5.
Shema.
Read.
And David answered the priest and said unto him, Of a truth women have been kept from us about these 3 days, and I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy, and the bread is in a manner common, yea, though it were sanctified this day in the vessel.
So again, I want to be fair, because if David is saying it's been sanctified, but David don't know the wickedness of these Levites. So ain't nothing they've been doing is sanctified. So David's saying, listen, these men are pure, they haven't touched their wives, so that bread, though you sanctified it, David assumed he sanctified it. So this is another caveat. They're saying, well surely David would know it's the Sabbath because he's sanctifying the bread. That's when about these 3 days. About these 3 days, the Levites could have been, Amalek could have been preparing for the Sabbath. But then we just read the history of these sons. That don't mean they're changing it like they're supposed to.
Right.
He could have been changing it late. Again, for the continuous cycle, people to say, this confirms that it's the Sabbath on the 4th day and not the 7th day. Meaning we don't pay attention to the new moon. It don't hold up.
That's right.
Just because you're saying, look, this is the Sabbath and it's the 4th day from the new moon, that means the new moon has nothing to do with the Sabbath. You're banking on that this is the Sabbath. But again, if this is the Sabbath, why is David going in the temple with all these witnesses? And he know, I'm on foot. They got horses. Hey, David's in the temple, and that's what happened here. Edomite saw David and went back and told Saul. Amalek gave David bread. Now let's read what happens to Amalek. Yah fulfills his word, he can't lie. Let's go to drop down over to chapter 22, verse 18. I'm sorry, 22:17. Chapter 22:17, and we're going to read down to 19 or 20.
And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, Turn and slay the priests of the Most High, because their hand also is with David, and because they knew when he fled and did not shew it to me. But the servants of the king would not put forth their hand to fall upon the priests of the Most High. And the king said to Doeg, Turn thou and fall upon the priests. And Doeg the Edomite turned, and he fell upon the priests, and slew on that day 85 persons that did wear a linen ephod. 85
Levites were killed by this Edomite. The Israelites was like, no, I can't, I'm not touching these are the priests. Even though the rumors is they wicked, it's still, he's a priest though. I'm gonna let y'all deal with him. So the Israelite soldiers like, no, Saul, I'm not killing these priests. The Edomite was like, I'll do it. And he slew 85 priests. Now, what was Yah's promise to Eli?
That there would be no old men.
But then he said, but those who honor me,
I'll honor, yeah. And those that don't, I'll lightly esteem.
So if Amalek was honoring Yah, let's read what happened to Amalek. Verse 19.
And Nob, the city of the priests, smote he with the edge of the sword, both men and women, children and sucklings, and oxen and asses and sheep with the edge of the sword. And of the sons of Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, named Abiathar, escaped and fled after David.
They just killed all the prophets or all the Levites, and one of Amalek's sons escapes and goes finds David. But the promise Yah made to Eli, those of your righteous sons, I'm going to spare them. Amalek wasn't spared. So that's another point. If Amalek was so righteous and had showbread like he's supposed to, why did Yah let him get killed?
Yeah.
Again, them confirming that this is the Sabbath is on shaky ground. This could be the Sabbath because it's the 3 days in the woods in about 3 days. So Amalek could have been preparing for the Sabbath, but you can't say for sure this is the Sabbath. Because if Amalek is righteous, doing what he's supposed to do, Yah would have let him got killed. He saved David, but he didn't save Amalek. Amen?
Amen.
So this is one of the strongest points for years I didn't have an answer to. I was like, I got to keep studying. I didn't get prideful. Oh, no, yeah, you're right. I see it here. I don't know why he got the showbread and it's the 4th day. I didn't know. But understanding always don't come right away. So this may not have been the Sabbath, but that's what they hold to. They go to this verse. See, he has the showbread. And it's the third or fourth day after the new moon. So they say the Sabbath, the new moon has nothing to do with the Sabbath, but it's on shaky ground. So let's go to the last point, or their second strongest point for the new moon. Let's go to Genesis 1 and 15. And once we get to our lunar Sabbath, it's going to go faster. Let's go to Genesis 1 and 15. This is the second point they raised. And again, it was like, wow, yeah, that's a good point. I ain't have a comeback. I got to keep studying. And, you know, it's not a prideful thing. Some people get caught up in pride. And we're still learning. We're trying to grow. So don't get caught up in pride. So this is Genesis 1, 15. And we're going to read down to 19. Shema, when you have it.
Shema.
Read.
And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth, and it was so. And the Most High made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Yah said to them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And the Most High said it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
So they say, see, the stars and the moon wasn't made to the fourth day. So if the moon wasn't made to the fourth day, how can the moon have anything to do with the Sabbath? They're saying the moon wasn't made to the fourth day, so it can't have any bearings on our count. And again, for years, it's like, that's a good point. I don't know. But answer me this. Everybody, again, with your phone, Google your birthday or Google your child's birthday. Your exact birthday. If you was born April 5th, 68, Google April 5th, 68. Whatever your birthday, or if you remember the day you was born, you know, you can just say what day you was born. Everybody had a chance? So when I did mine, for my year, I was born on a pagan Tuesday. And I remember my mom and my birth certificate, I was born on a Tuesday night. Anybody else got theirs?
Monday.
You was born on a Monday.
Monday night.
You was born on a Monday night. Okay, anybody else?
Monday.
Gina was born, Gina and Sister Barbara were both born on a pagan Monday. Anybody else? So, when you were born on a pagan Monday, Sister Barbara and Gina, according to the research, Babylon started their weeks with Saturday, and then Rome followed, but then they eventually started their week with Sunday. So, since we're in pagan Rome right now, we're following Rome, they start their weeks with Sunday. So, when you were born that year you were born, and you came out, your parents were excited, oh, hallelujah, I got my beautiful baby. Did your parents start the week over? They didn't start the week over? So they didn't say, oh, it's Sunday. No? No, because whatever day of the system you're born in, you start from that day. So when you bought a new watch, when you buy your new watch, do you set it from the day you bought it or to the current time?
Current time.
So just because the moon was created on the fourth day, well, man didn't come until the sixth day. So that's another thing, like, yeah, like the moon wasn't made to the fourth, and then Adam wasn't made to the sixth. So when do you start? And this is not being, these are good questions, like, yeah, like, man, like, these are serious good questions. And I didn't get this till recently. Just like we were born on a pagan whatever day, we entered the system. So when Adam was created, time didn't start from Adam, this is day. No, Yah says, I'm putting you on my system. Adam started in the Most High system. Remember, Adam didn't even have parents. He didn't have incubation of 9 months. So the Most High just put him into the current system. That's just me being, maybe I'm a little off, I'm a little crazy.
No.
I'm a little crazy. Let's go to Jubilees. Let's go to Jubilees. You got the tab up.
Oh, yeah. Me. It is.
Jubilees, is it 2, chapter 2?
Well, here highlight is chapter 1, verse 11.
We need chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
I don't know why I got chapter 1.
Chapter 2:17.
2:17. This is answering, and again, this is not chopping the brothers. This is just answering the question. You know, like I didn't have answers. I didn't know what to say, but thank the Most High for understanding. Now we can say, well, you know, y'all system has some shaky ground. Jubilees chapter 2, and we're going to start this at 17. Shema? Shema? This is Jubilees chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 17.
And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep the Sabbath on the 7th day from all work. And all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he hath bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth.
Say what?
In heaven and on earth.
They keep the Sabbath in heaven?
And on earth.
How do the angels keep the Sabbath in heaven with no moon? Read that again, That's a very important piece. This is not being facetious, but we can answer now how the moon wasn't made to the 4th day, and how you're going to have the moon controlling the Sabbath if it wasn't made to the 4th day. We have an answer. Now, if they are not humble enough to consider the answer, the ball's in their court, but we can answer now. Read the one. This is Jubilees 2, verse 17.
Well, this is actually verse 18 with the answer in it.
Okay.
And all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he hath bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth.
The angels keep a Sabbath in heaven without a moon. There's a 7-count rhythm. Yah has this thing mapped out. So this moon doctrine or this moon point is now mute. We just answered that. We don't need the moon to count the Sabbath. Yah put Adam into his system. This is concrete proof. And to drive it home, let's keep reading. I think they say it again. They confirm it. Let's keep going down to verse 21.
And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep Sabbath with us on the 7th day, to eat and to drink, and to bless him who has created all things, as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep Sabbath together with us.
So the angels are confirming to, I believe this is Abraham's time. Abraham is getting the laws again. They're confirming you Israelites are keeping Sabbath with us as we do in heaven. They don't have a moon. They don't have a moon. So the fact that the moon wasn't made to the 4th day, it doesn't matter. Y'all put us in his time zone. Like when y'all travel abroad. You don't just tell them, no, it's 9 o'clock. No, you over in Bahamas or wherever, you're going to rock with our time zone. So when Yah created Adam, he put him on his schedule. So when it says Yah rested on the seventh day, it was the seventh day of the week. Because now when you go back to Genesis, in the beginning, what beginning? Because Yah has no beginning.
That's right.
So now we know Moses is recording everything past tense. That's what I tried to bring out last week, and I guess it got convoluted. When you read in the evening and morning word the first day, it's past tense. It's not saying the evening starts today, because again, if evening starts today, go back and read the account, Genesis 1:1, what day was the Shemites created? If you're saying the evening and it starts today, that whole, we said I separated the waters, what day was that? What day was that? So, to prove that the evening doesn't start our day, I got to tab up the first book of Adam. The first book of Adam. Let's talk about mean times idle. I'm recording. It's all right. This is the first book of Adam. And
Oh, that's the book of Joshua. Here it goes. I got it.
And this is why I love these books, because it answers questions. The hard questions that we didn't have answers to, these books have the answers. This is the first book of Adam and Eve, I guess I should say. We're going to read chapter 13, and let's drop down to, started at verse 5. This is book of Adam and Eve, chapter 13, verse 5.
But he transgressed, and I made him fall from heaven upon the earth.
I'm sorry, Salakis, forgive me. We got to get the beginning. We got to start at verse 1.
First one.
Yeah, we got to start at verse 1.
I'm just going to magnify it. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. Then when the Most High, who is merciful and full of pity, heard Adam's voice, he said unto him, O Adam, so long as the good angel was obedient to me, a bright light rested on him and on his host. But when he transgressed my commandment, I deprived him of the bright nature, and he became dark.
Who's the good angel that was full of light?
Hasatan.
This is talking about Lucifer. That's where they get the word lucent from. Lucent means light, because Lucifer was the bright and morning star. So Adam and Eve is recording when Lucifer was in heaven, he was full of light. The Hebrew word would translate to glory. He was full of the glory of the Most High. Calm? Let's read what happened to him.
And when he was in the heavens, in the realms of the light, he knew not of darkness. But he transgressed, and I made him fall from heaven upon the earth. And it was this darkness that came upon him.
Lucifer sinned, and he became dark.
And on thee, O Adam, while in my garden and obedient to me, did that bright light rest also. But when I heard of thy transgression, I deprived thee of that bright light. Yet of my mercy I did not turn thee into darkness, but I made thee thy body of flesh, over which I spread this skin, in order that it may bear cold and heat.
So when Adam and our mother Kawah was first made in the garden, all they were light. They were glorious. Yah says, when I heard that you sinned, I had to change your state, and I put that flesh on you so you could withstand the elements that I was about to bring on you. But when you was in the garden, before you sinned, there was all light. There was no darkness. So now we can say there's no way a day starts with evening if there's not supposed to be darkness. There's not supposed to be darkness, family. Let's continue and read. You'll see it.
If I had let my wrath fall heavily upon thee, I should have destroyed thee. And had I turned thee into darkness, it would have been as if I killed thee. But in mercy I have made thee as thou art. When thou didst transgress my commandment, O Adam, I drove thee from the garden and made thee come forth into this land, and commanded thee to dwell in this cave, and darkness came upon thee, as it did upon him who had transgressed my commandment.
Darkness or night is a result of sin. Originally, there was supposed to be no darkness in the garden. Adam and Hawa, known as Eve, were full of light. They didn't see darkness until they transgressed and took of that forbidden item or whatever it was. But let's, to bring this home, let's go over to chapter 16, verse 2. Chapter 6, this is Adam and Eve, chapter 16. We're going to get verse 2. So if night was not supposed to be around us, there's no way the Most High is going to start our days with darkness. This is Adam and Eve, book 1, chapter 16.
Starting with verse 2.
Yes, sir.
And when they saw the light return to them, they restrained from fear and strengthened their hearts. Then Adam began to come out of the cave, and when he came to the mouth of it, and stood and turned his face towards the east, and saw the sun rise in glowing rays, and felt the heat thereof on his body, he was afraid of it, and thought in his heart that this flame came forth to plague him.
So this confirms that yes, the sun and the moon wasn't made to the fourth day, but the account of Genesis is being told in the past tense. Adam and Eve gives you more context. Adam and Eve didn't need the sun or the moon until they transgressed, because they were full of light. Darkness is a result of sin, so there's no way the Most High is starting our days in the evening. This is what we value these books for. Let's read a little bit more.
All right. He wept then and smote upon his breast and fell upon the earth on his face and made his request, saying, O Yah, plague me not, neither consume me, nor yet take away my life from the earth. For he thought the sun was Yah. Inasmuch as while he was in the garden and heard the voice of Yah and the sound he had made in the garden, and feared him, Adam never saw the brilliant light of the sun, neither did the flaming heat thereof touch his body.
He was so bright he didn't need the sun. But when he transgressed, Yah says, I'm going to take care of you anyway. That's when he made the sun and the... We're going to keep going. I'm going to let you read.
Therefore was he afraid of the sun when the flaming rays of it reached him. He thought the Most High meant to plague him therewith all the days he had decreed for him. For Adam also said in his thoughts, as the Most High did not plague us with darkness,